best line in the movie.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to Pick It and Flick It Halloween Extravaganza.
Welcome back. We did this yesterday, remember?
Yeah, welcome back. So they had to wait 24 hours for another episode.
Oh, it
because
hasn't
I know
been
our fans are patiently awaiting.
for every day.
Yeah, they're like, come on.
At 11 o'clock when these drop.
Yeah, they can't wait.
Mm-hmm. What did we watch?
We watched Orphan, the one from
You have to look up the year.
2009.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, when this came out, I feel like every horror movie was like the same.
I was a freshman in high school when this movie came out, so 2009, do the math.
Okay, I was in 8th grade then.
Well, I know that, but over a decade, what was that, 12 years?
13.
13 years? Holy shit.
Yeah. The lucky number 13.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been a hot minute. But with the celebration of the prequel
Orphan First Kill.
that came out, but it's a prequel that came out 13 years later.
Yeah.
With the same girl.
Well,
we decided
we will talk
watch
about
this.
that tomorrow. So
we
let's
decided
talk
to
about
watch
the
this.
first one.
For 2009, what was that? Paranormal Activity, and probably like the third or fourth rendition of Saw. Like these really corny, kind of splatter, jump scary horror movies all kind of pushed into one. Because I mean,
a lot of like The House of the Devil, Drag Me to Hell.
Oh yeah,
Where the Wild Things Are.
that's not a horror movie. Google's lying to you.
Jennifer's Body.
Oh yeah,
Human
okay.
Centipede.
Oh man, so a lot of schlock.
Yeah.
I'm using that word a lot now.
Antichrist.
So yeah.
Lots of haunting movies.
Yeah, so not that this was a haunting movie, because for those who don't know, The Orphan is about a family who has struggled getting pregnant with their third child, and come to find out it's because the mother hasn't really been treating her body that nicely, a recovering alcoholic, and she had a stillborn.
So the question, though, is that I don't know if it'll be explained in the next movie. It wouldn't really make sense because I think the next movie is more about Esther.
Well, it's her first kill.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
But I don't think that she was... Maybe she was an alcoholic.
Oh, she clearly was.
You think so? Okay.
She passed out drunk while her daughter almost drowned in a pond.
But she made it seem like I didn't go to AA. It was a choice. I didn't have a problem. I just decided to stop drinking.
And again,
maybe that's
what do alcoholics say? I mean, I don't know how many alcoholics you know, but I know one or two. Actually, probably 3 or 4 now that I think about it. And they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a clear issue with that, and you're acknowledging the fact that you have an issue, but you're just going to stop drinking, you're an alcoholic.
Well, it's because they don't want to go to like the...
Well, and I mean, not to get too deep on this, but like I don't necessarily think that you have to go to a recovery counseling meeting in order to recover from something.
Yeah.
But the line in this movie is, I chose to stop drinking. And it's because she had an issue, and she acknowledges it in her journal, which we find out later on, where she keeps all of her secrets at, because she has an issue.
Right,
so,
but she's telling her mother-in-law that she doesn't have an issue.
Yeah,
I guess that's just where I was taking it.
Yeah, right. Well, it's the underlining storyline in this. It's not really even the main plot point, but for me, I think that because of her addiction to alcohol, and that was, causing her to drink, is kind of how she had a stillborn. It didn't say that, but it kind of made sense.
But that's kind of implied.
Yeah, that she was drinking while she was pregnant. Yeah. But anyways, so they want a third child, and they can't have one, so they decide to adopt. Which I feel... So this movie wasn't... Maybe it was long. Did it feel like it was felt
long?
Really long, and it's because it's slow as fuck.
So, because it took a while for them to even get to the orphanage. So it was. I mean, it was.
I think it was
over 2 hours. It was 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought this was only like a 90-minute movie.
I thought so too.
I thought that's why we were like
the reason you chose.
Yeah,
we chose it.
I've been trying to like focus on, as we're getting closer to our deadline here, focus on like movies that aren't 2 hours long.
Well,
and yeah,
you fucked up.
I did fuck up because this movie was really long.
Yeah.
And
so it took them.
It's not only long. I'm gonna hot take it. It's fucking boring. It's
yeah.
fucking boring.
So I think the reason that this movie is so liked.
Oh, of course.
Is because of the twist at the end.
Of course.
We'll get to that, but. So they,
in case you haven't seen this over a decade-old movie, that is one of the most cult classic twists in the modern era of horror. But anyways,
so they adopt this child. Her name is Esther.
Oh,
but the dad says it weird. He says it with like an accent. He's always like Esther.
Well, maybe he has like a little bit of a lisp.
No, he doesn't.
How do you know? You don't know him.
He says it with an accent, and it's weird. Maybe it's just like not maybe like a lisp. I can't say Esther without like.
Whatever.
So they adopt her right off the bat. Like the mom doesn't really like her. Like she goes to shake her hand and she doesn't shake her hand.
Yeah, there's a lot, like us knowing the twist that came at the end of this movie. We were picking out a lot of because I haven't watched this movie since it came out.
No,
so I forgot a lot what was going on in this, but I knew the twist. So
yeah, because when she says, when he's like, "Oh, you're really good at that," when she's painting, she says, "I've had plenty years of practice."
Yeah, right.
And I'm like.
Uh-oh.
I see that.
Yeah.
And then they leave the orphanage and the nun says, "Good luck," and she crosses her fingers behind her back.
See, I didn't see that, but it's funny that you said Esther does that or the nun does?
The nun does.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Like she's like, "Good luck," like I don't want her coming back pretty much.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, and that's weird to me because as the nun returns later on in the movie to start trying to help the family solve the issues that they were having with this girl, you don't like she seems very wholehearted. You don't think she would be the one to cross her fingers. So maybe that was just like a weird thing, or did it purposely show her cross her fingers? I missed it.
I just saw like they panned out and like they were backing away, and you just saw her like put her hands behind her back and she crossed her fingers. I don't know if she said good luck or if she said like something, but I think she was crossing her fingers, meaning like I hope she's better with this family than she is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know,
here
I am crossing my fingers behind my back, like people can see me.
Yeah, but that might have been just like an actor.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
We talked about this the other night when we were watching Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, he does this thing where he stands and plays with his beard in his mustache, and that was just something that has like developed in an actor.
Yeah,
it wasn't like so that just to me is like maybe she does that.
Yeah, maybe that's
where she's like saying, but I don't know. But I wanted to say, since you pointed that out to me, I initially thought, because I couldn't remember after you said she's crossing her fingers after saying take care or good luck, I was like, oh fuck, is the nun in on this? You know, because it was one of those weird horror movies where like they wanted to do jump scares.
Yes,
and the classic mirror shot, they showed that like 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden finally there was a jump scare with the mirror, and then the other one that really pisses me off, and they've done it 3 fucking times in this movie, is when it's like an intense moment. She's looking through the sock drawer, she's like going and trying to get find her daughter hiding in the house or whatever, and they have like this rise in music, and then a sharp turn of the camera, like,
and it makes the
yeah, but it's supposed to be like Esther's behind her the whole time. It's going to like show up with a knife and stab her, but she's never there. And they do it several times. And it's supposed to be, I know what they're doing, it's supposed to be like that panic-inducing moment where like, oh fuck, Esther's going to show up, and then thank God she's not. But they do it so many times where it's just like, can you show up now?
Right.
Can
like,
you show up and stab her?
She?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets a little obnoxious.
Well, and then in the orphanage, there was like that creepy-ass clown playing with the kids. And you saw him like twice, but it's like, I get like clown. It was actually a scary clown, like not just a clown that I was like, "Ooh, that was scary." Like it was a scary clown.
Yeah, I didn't understand some of the plot points that were being tossed in here. And it's not that the clown was a plot point, but it's like, okay, they're in an orphanage with a bunch of little girls, and this clown's going in the background. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? What's happening? We haven't done this in a long time. From what I can remember, but can we do a list of 3 likes, 3 dislikes? Because I'm teetering on this one, and typically when we do 3 likes, 3 dislikes, it allows me to make up my mind a little bit easier.
Okay.
I can start if you want, because I actually was taking notes for the first time in a while on this movie.
Yeah.
So my 3 likes, there are some fantastic camera angles that come up in this movie. There's, to name a few that come off the top of my head right now, there's one where she is going to take her first bath or shower in the house, and she locks the door as the mom walks away. But before she locks the door, it zooms in on the door handle, which is completely reflective, and it shows the mom walking into her room before the door locks. I thought that was really cool. There was a scene where I don't know if it's her first like crazy attack or something like that, but it zooms really, really close in on her face, almost as if something was attached to her head, like a camera was attached to her head when she was like screaming and going crazy. Oh, was that the scene where she gets all of her books knocked out of her hand?
Yeah.
In the school, and it like zooms in on her face, and she's screaming, and it's kind of like shaking. That is really, really cool. That added
I didn't know if you liked that.
Loved that. I thought that was like a really intense moment that they added an effect to make it even more intense. So I really enjoyed that as well. And then last but not least, of course, another production thing. The music in this movie was ridiculous. Like, they used some creepy ass shit to relay some creepy ass shit. Like, there is a little murder scene happening between Esther and the nun where she's smashing her head in with the hammer, and there's like this accordion-esque sound in the background. It's like kind of like a clown, like circusy, like clowny. And I was just like, God damn, this is creepy as fuck, because it's just this little girl with a hammer getting splattered in blood as she's smashing a nun's skull in. So that was pretty intense. And so those three things, I really, really enjoyed those three things about this movie.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know you didn't have a list.
I do. I don't have a list of likes and dislikes. I just have some notes. I really liked the black light. I thought that was really cool. How
like the
all
reveal
of the,
concept.
Yeah, all of the paintings that she had done like looked nice in the light, but then when the black light was on, they were like, the mom was like stabbed in the head and they were bleeding, and then the house was on fire, and I thought that was a really cool effect. Like, that was different. You know, not something you always see. And
there's like hidden pictures on the walls too with black light.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
What else did I like? Obviously, I like the twist, which, I mean, the twist at the end, if you haven't seen Orphan, and you're just listening to this to know what Orphan's all about, the Esther, who's supposed to be an 8-year-old girl, ends up being a 33-year-old woman.
Yes.
Who is from a mental
institution.
Institution, and she
has a disease, a hormonal imbalance
she's like
disease.
dwarfism disease, where she will always look like she's that young.
Well, it's partial dwarfism, so it shows she develops like a normal woman, except she's like looks like a kid instead of a dwarf. And that is, not to totally sidetrack you on your list here, but there's a reveal at the end here too, where we see that she kind of comes on to the dad, right? And and that's kind of where the story unfolds. But she goes crazy, and she takes out like her fake teeth that are meant to look like kids' teeth, and she takes her shirt off, and she unwraps herself to expose that she had breasts, and then she pulls her dress down, and it like zooms in. It's really fast and it's really weird, but it zooms in on her butt, like showing that she was a developed woman who wrapped herself, and that's why she wore the big dresses, and that's why she had like all of this covering up on, so it squished her boobs down, which makes sense now that I know that it's a 33-year-old woman, but like during because that was before they announced that it was a
right before
so I was like, what?
No, I think she knew.
It's like during the whole thing. It's like during the whole scene. It's very quick, but I was just like, they just zoomed in on her boobs. Oh, now it's a butt, and you can tell that it's not her, because obviously the girl who was playing Esther was an 8-year-old girl. No, she's not. How old was she in this movie?
In real life?
Yeah.
She's in her 30s now.
No. In this movie, when she takes her dress off and exposes fully developed boobs, that's not her. That's a body double. She has full boobs at 8 years old.
The actress was not 8 years old.
In the filming of this movie. How old was she?
So right now, let's see.
She's 33. I get it.
Yeah, this movie was filmed 13 years ago. So she would have been 20. She wouldn't have been 8 years old.
No way she's 20.
I'm looking it up right now.
No way. That's what I'm saying. There's that again, though. This is why there's a bit of a divide for me because there's this, from what I'm assuming, is an 8-year-old actress going and coming on to the father, who is probably
She is 25 years old.
okay, so how old was she?
So 13 years ago, she was 12.
Okay, so she was 12, and she's playing a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old or whatever. So yeah,
She's
again,
actually kind of pretty.
yeah, she's really cute. She was in the Hunger Games and a couple of other things that I think we've seen recently.
But I don't know if I have a third necessarily. I mean, this movie was good at keeping you on your toes. You know, you didn't know what was going to happen.
Oh, really? You thought so?
Yeah.
I even felt like rewatching this, I could see myself remembering when it came out, expecting what would happen because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's that predictable.
Oh, see? I had no idea.
They start framing these things up where it's like, okay, she's the house burned down that she was in, and then.
Well, I knew she was bad, but like I didn't know that she was going to be
everything that would happen.
child.
So the fucking no, that's just the one twist, but everything else is fine. You know, the kid that runs and accidentally fell with with scissors and stabbed himself, and her lighting the treehouse on fire and all this other stuff. It just was pretty predictable to me. Do you have any dislikes as we go down the line?
Yeah, I mean, it was very like the acting is not the best.
No, acting's terrible.
The
That's
chemistry
one of mine, too.
between the mother and the father was absolutely horrible. Like it was cringy to watch them kiss or be intimate, or it was just, and you could tell like the actress and actor like
they didn't want
anything to do with each other.
Well, we were watching it, and I literally said like, you can when you pointed that out, I was like, yeah, you can tell, but the director's just like, fuck it, we're gonna keep putting these sex scenes in there because we want them to fuck.
Well, I think it was so like Esther could walk in on them, or Esther could again walk in on them, and it was just like, okay, come on.
Right. Yeah.
So, that was a big thing. I think like it was just unbelievable, the distrust between the husband and the wife, I guess. But like they clearly had issues before, but it was just like there was so much wrong with
there's
her.
a couple of like plot points that were very confusing to me too.
Right. And the fact that Max, like the little sister, just like stood around the entire time while she did. Yeah,
and she was just like covering for her. And I guess they were trying to show that Max was the hero, right? That she was protecting the family because Esther kept saying, if you tell on me, I'm just going to shoot your mom or whatever.
Right.
But it didn't come off that way.
No.
It didn't come off that way at all. So acting, I think we can probably agree on most of our dislikes here. The terribly timed jump scares.
Yes.
There was some, like, the kids in the orphanage running by the camera, like the dad's walking down the hallway real quietly while Esther's singing, and all of a sudden there's like, kids.
Well, but it wasn't even like the terrible timing. It was just like the jump scares that they tried to have were not even scary.
No.
It was like she's closing the mirror and there's no one there.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
The sound is getting louder, but Esther's never behind her.
Right. The kids are running through the orphanage, Yeah.
And the last thing that I have on mine, because I agree with both of those, is the really weird environmental things. Like there was lightning and thunder while it was snowing outside.
Yeah.
That was one of them. The dad randomly in the middle of a park lighting a cigarette with a match.
Well, I mean, some people do that.
It just felt very off. Like there's these kids playing and he's pushing the kids on the swings, and then all of a sudden all of the kids are gone. Esther's trying to kill someone and he's over in the corner trying to light a match in the middle of winter with lighting a cigarette with a match. And that's the other thing too. When was the last time you ever seen kids, like that many kids at a playground in the middle of winter?
Well, we don't have kids, so we don't go to the playground.
It's weird to me. Like some of these calls are just, it seems so off. And I think the last one too is when they injected the sedative in the doctor's office, or I mean in the hospital. I don't think they would do that.
No, and that's the thing. Like she was
She was belligerent,
She
but
was
she was
being
like,
treated like she was like this psych patient.
yeah.
And like the husband wasn't even like, and that was another thing. It was just the grandma and the husband were just fully okay with her being restrained instead of being like, honey, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You know, trying to like calm her down.
Being restrained, being sedated, and then all of a sudden, the next scene is like her strapped to a bed, and they're like, you have to stay here for a little while. And then the scene after that is the people in Russia calling her, being like, that's a 33-year-old girl. And she gets out of bed, gets dressed, gets in a car, just walks out of the hospital, no problem, in the middle of the night. No one's there. No one's watching. It was really weird.
Well, it's weird that there's so many car scenes. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like there's the scene, one of the first scenes, she almost gets in a car accident with Max.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another scene where Max is in the car and Esther pulls the parking brake off and puts it in neutral, and then she starts rolling down.
Who the fuck puts the parking brake on at school?
It's on a hill.
I guess.
And she got out of the car.
Okay. All right. Fine.
And then
I'll accept that one.
When she's driving through the snow trying to get home, and not to mention the police get there after everything's already happened.
Yeah, and she gets there, like, she gets home from the hospital in like 3 minutes because she's just sliding all over the place.
Right, but the police aren't
there. And
there?
there's no police anywhere near.
Ridiculous.
I don't know, man.
I like that they killed the dad. Fuck him.
Fuck all these people.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't even like the kids, man. The kids were terrible. Esther was the best character in it.
No, she wasn't.
Oh, I disagree. I think she was the best character in it. Yeah.
I liked Danny.
Fuck Danny. Little pussy fart.
Esther's an old bitch.
I liked her character. I think she
Whatever.
played it pretty well. Here at Pick It and Flick It, we rate movies 2 ways. We like to say pick for the better movies worth your time, or flick for the worst movies not worth your time, as well as giving you a scale of 1 to 10 just so you can figure out if it's worth watching or not. I've made up my decision. Doing the 3 likes and dislikes helped me teeter. I was going one way or the other, and I went one way. So would you pick or flick?
I'd pick it. I mean, if someone has never seen it, I'd say see it.
I would
but if
too.
someone is like, I'm thinking about rewatching Orphan, I'd be like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I would say I would pick it. The storyline in and of itself is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The execution of it is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Give me a 1 out of 10.
4.
Or 1 to 10. 4?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I don't feel as bad now because I'm giving it a 5.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay. You give it a 4. Was that bad for you?
It just...
I can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah,
So-
I guess we will see, hopefully.
Is this movie worth having a prequel made? We're going to find out, but you know what? I've heard mixed reviews without any spoilers on the prequel movie, so if you are interested in hearing what we have to say about that, make sure you subscribe. And
yeah, and if you need a refresher before you watch the Orphan First Kill, listen to this one.
well, if they've made it 23 minutes in, I would hope that they would listen to this one. So,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Okay.
I see what you're doing. You're trying to promo.
Yeah.
You're doing great. I feel you.
Okay.
Make sure you subscribe. Click that bell, whatever that means. There's like a notification bell or something like that. You don't have to do that. I just want to get people to subscribe. At the time of this recording, we got 125 subscribers, which is our highest yet. So
Woohoo.
we're doing a lot. Especially
Tell your friends about us.
Especially without Luke's bitch ass.
Yeah.
He'll be back for
Big back
a couple
bitch.
more, hopefully. And if you're
Just kidding,
not
Luke.
caught up with what we are doing, this is the Halloween Extravaganza, where we release one movie review for every single day in October. And this is what, number 16? So there's 15 more before this. So if you haven't listened, make sure you do so. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Bye.